Move straight to Richard.
Sound person.
Thank you, and welcome to everybody this evening. This is an important time to be talking about housing in the UK. As an organisation, the National Landlords Association has been talking about the same issues for a number of years. So we want to encourage this not to just be an industry discussion or just a political one. The goal is to have a truly public debate about housing. It is understandable that so far the UK strategy for housing has been to simply increase home ownership and ensuring some social housing for those left over. Yet in communities up and down the country we can see a better solution is desperately needed. A silver bullet for UK housing doesn't exist. What is quickly becoming apparent is the need for a more multifaceted approach. Labour cannot appeal to houseboats or caravans to meet this need. That means a proper vision based on modern life and needs. Labour is going to have to champion that vision, both in opposition and at local government level. So where does private renting sit within that vision? The irony is that most people already experience private renting at some point in their life, either when they go to university or leave to start their careers, or when they move around the country to take up new opportunities. Yet that has always seemed small, niche and transient because of politicians and the public's preoccupation with social housing and home ownership. Let's have a reality check. Over 3.4 million people rent in the private rented sector today. That's possible because around 1 in 60 of the population let property that they don't live in themselves. That's around 1 million landlords. The tenure has seen a massive growth over the last decade as people struggle with ever-increasing house prices, shrinking mortgage finance, and over 5 million people currently excluded from social housing. But it has also grown out of the changing needs of modern society. A more mobile and demanding population have chosen to pick a tenure that is all about choice. According to government figures, 70% of all new households in England are finding their home in the PRS. Over the last decade, over 1 million additional households have been housed in the private rented sector, partly thanks to the benign economic environment. Whilst political parties have been thinking about how to tackle the growing housing problem, landlords up and down the country have been busy meeting housing need. They have been the ones investing, right now, to provide other people with homes. But with 1 in 5 likely to be renting their homes from a private landlord by 2020, landlords and their tenants need to be recognised as a genuine part of the housing mix. We need to wake up to the fact that we need more rented housing. The private rented centre takes a lot of the strain in the housing market, whilst other parts of the market are at a standstill. But if we want to ensure the expansion of professionally rented accommodation, we need new structured ways for people to invest in this type of housing. That will need creative thinking. Politicians have put a lot of faith in the ability of institutional investment to bring significant quantities of rental accommodation to the market, yet very few homes have actually materialised. We've seen investment in student accommodation. We've seen investment in the luxury top end of the market, but these are feeding only a niche part of the market. Yet there is appetite for investment by ordinary people. The Social Landlord Places for People launched a retail bond to investors, which attracted £140 million from ordinary investors. 1 in 5 current landlords are looking to increase their investment in the next year. So the question is, how can we encourage better investment? Being a landlord takes more than just having the ability to invest or simply owning a property. The legal and regulatory requirements, whilst not necessarily known to the tenants, are complex and pervading. Everything from gas safety checks, EPCs, tenancy deposit protection are just the fundamental requirements that a lettings business must meet. At the lower end of the sector, it is these responsibilities that are either unknown or, even worse, ignored. But the perception is that in other industries, the culture of polluter pays has informed policy and regulation for many years now. Yet the PRS is still a sector where there is no differentiation between good or bad. Certainly everyone has got to stop thinking that rent simply equals profit. The reality is that there is a significant cost to providing properties for tenants, and without a sustainable long-term business plan, landlords can quickly find themselves in a serious mess. The NLA's advice line takes over 30,000 calls each year to help our members provide professionally managed homes to people up and down the country. But far too much of the landlording community are not members of an association that can ensure they have the information and advice to do the job. So what is the best role for Labour in all of this? Well, with Labour's ongoing housing review, we're going to be looking for the following. A clearer idea of what role we want the PRS to play in the UK's housing mix. How a Labour government and local authorities are going to focus regulatory powers on the badly managed bottom end of the sector. And how Labour would encourage growth in the professionally managed part of the sector.
Thank you very much.